Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Today we're going over the NRL22 Course of Fire for May, and what's interesting about this is in prior years, the May Course of Fire has kind of been just a fun warm-up match before Nationals, but it's actually going to be the first match of the new season, so this will count towards the 2023-2024 season. Overall, the Course of Fire is pretty standard, I would say, and it's kind of a great introduction for new shooters to the sport. So without further ado, let's jump into it, and I hope these tips and tricks help you out on your competitive shooting journey. So up first, stage one, it's called back and forth. Stage description is as follows. On the start signal, you take a prone supported position and engage the targets with one shot each in the following order. The KYL rack, large to small, far target again, and KYL rack, small to large. All targets are hit or miss. Move on. So we've got a KYL target over at 35 yards and a 3-inch at 100. I'll put the target sizes in MOA and mils up here for reference. And essentially, there's no restriction to this stage, and it's a prone stage, so it should be relatively straightforward. When the timer goes beep, put your rifle down, make sure you're in line with that KYL target. Grab a favorite rear bag of choice, put that under here. Get down on the rifle, get situated, get comfortable, make sure your dope is dialed. For that KYL rack, for me, that's down 0.2 of a mil from my 50-yard zero. I'm gonna get onto the gun, I'm gonna find my target, I'm gonna make sure my parallax is perfect, and then what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna zoom into my max magnification of 25. Those KYL targets are the smallest targets of the match. This will be probably the make or break stage, depending on if you can hit those KYL targets. Fortunately, they're only at 35 yards instead of last month's match was like 50 yards. And the month before that was like 42, so it's closer, a little bit easier to hit, but still some of the smallest targets of the match. So we're gonna get ourselves a nice comfortable position, and because it's a prone stage, relatively straightforward in terms of prone shooting. I think a lot of people are comfortable shooting prone. Really work on your time management here. So figure about like 10 seconds, there's 10 shots, right? So 10 seconds per shot plus 10 seconds in the beginning to get settled, and maybe 10 seconds to dial back to the far target. I would recommend dialing. I think there's plenty of time on the clock. So you get down, find your first target, make sure you're nice and steady, engage the 4 targets. Then where I'm gonna come up, my dope for 100 yards is 1.8. I'm gonna find that, I'm gonna dial, I'm gonna look through my scope, I'm gonna find the target, and then I'm gonna adjust my parallax because there's gonna be a big discrepancy between the 35-yard and 100-yard target. If you're having trouble finding the target, after you hit the KYL rack, the 1/4 inch, back off the magnification, find the target, zoom into a place where you're comfortable, adjust the parallax, make sure you're dialed up. 2 taps on the far target, pretty straightforward, engage twice. And then we're gonna come back down to the KYL rack. I think where a lot of people might mess up here is we always do the KYL rack, large to small. So either like left to right or right to left, depending on how it's set up. I think the key here is actually going to be remembering that it's small to large on the way back. So we're doing the hardest target first, that 1/4 inch. So I've made my 2 shots at 100. I'm coming back to KYL rack. I'm dialing back down to minus 0.2 of a mil. I'm on the scope. I'm finding the target. I might be still zoomed out from that previous 100-yard target engagement. So I'm finding that KYL rack. I'm going to zoom all the way into 25. I'm going to adjust my parallax, make sure I'm perfectly in focus. Now here's where you want to really take your time. It's the hardest target to hit of the whole match. Take a little extra time here, hopefully make an impact, and then run back down the KYL rack. If you hit the KYL rack and the targets are spinning, it might also spin the one next to it, depending on how it's set up. So don't be afraid. Like I said, time management. You don't have to rush through the stage, and you do have time because we're not moving. Once we're in the prone position, I mean, yeah, we're acquiring a different target at 100 yards, but we're in the same position the whole time. You can take your time, you can focus on your breathing, focus on the fundamentals, and I think that's the key to success on this stage. This stage is probably the most difficult just in terms of target sizes. Obviously, it's not difficult in terms of movement or mobility or flexibility, but this will be the hardest in terms of the size of the targets that you have to hit. Hope those tricks and tips help. If they do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and I'll see you for stage 2 right after this.